Conference for giving me the opportunity to move straight to this summation. Clearly there's a great deal of interest in this motion, and I would have liked the opportunity to have heard a wider debate, obviously. But I can assure Conference that we have spent a considerable time, as Steve mentioned at the beginning, in reaching the conclusions that we have done. We didn't start with a unified purpose, we didn't start with a fixed mind, but we ended up with a decision that we believe this party would be right to take. And we are right to take it in the route map that Fiona laid out for us at the beginning. We need ambition. We need as a party to be clear that we can satisfy not only this party's renewable obligations, but also those which are placed upon this country, meagre as they are because of reasons that Fiona said. And I think we should make it clear in our minds that what we are trying to do is to meet our targets that we have set for ourselves. Now, there's a lot of fuss about what is the purpose of the Severn Tidal proposals. And I ask you to say to yourself, we are talking about a huge amount of energy. The second largest tidal range in the world. Just imagine a 45-foot, a 13.5-metre wall of water marching down the Severn estuary and returning again twice a day. What a huge source of natural energy that is, and what a power source for our country. No wonder it's so important to us. But as you know, the problem with the tide is that it comes in and it goes out, not at the time that you're necessarily having a breakfast or when you're putting a kettle on at night for a cup of tea. It comes when the tide decides, and every 12 hours, not when we most need that electricity. And if we are indeed to harness the tide, then we do need to get the best energy that we can, not just twice a day and a couple of times, a couple of peak hours in the day. And that's the first reason why we are proposing a combination of solutions to make sure we get the energy when we need it most, during every 24-hour period. Now, the environmental impact, as we've heard of a large barrage, is huge, removing huge amounts of habitat. And a replacement zone for that would be something about the size of the Isle of Wight, which clearly is not possible. And that's the second reason that we propose this combination of solutions. To get that combination, which actually finds an appropriate balance between maximising energy production and minimising environmental damage. And we're absolutely clear there will be environmental damage to every proposal. There is no proposal which doesn't provide environmental damage. But our proposal, we believe, carries the minimum amount of damage that we should sustain in order to meet our targets, which, as Fiona rightly said, are so important to us. And the third reason, of course, is that some of our proposals, we add that some of our proposals will have a beneficial environmental impact, particularly on flooding at that end of the estuary, which is upstream. And we know that there are problems that we're causing near Tewkesbury. But the third reason for supporting a combination of solutions is to get energy production on stream rapidly and progressively. There is no point in us waiting for 2030. The large barrage would come on stream about 2030. We need to produce energy now. We need to produce it in time for to meet our requirements. And that's why this combination is so important. We keep talking about new technologies and new processes. Yes, that's right. Yes, we will heavily invest. But we have to get this energy now. We can't wait all the years until 2030. And that's why the barrage, the Chutes barrage, with its environmental damage limited, as we've described it, but also giving us the economic prospect of a rail link, high-speed electrified rail link at the same time, is one which we must support as part of that mix. So I ask Conference to pass this motion as it stands, with the amendments, not taking out any of its components. And if you do that today, we will be the only party going into the next general election with a positive commitment to meeting our renewable targets and knowing how we're going to do it.